Hey folks, my name's Gromong and you're on my channel. This video is about the anime that are coming in next couple of days in fall season. My expectations to this season is not that high, but it is not a bad thing since will not be hard surprise me. If you want to know all the best anime coming next, I strongly recommend you to watch this video until the end. You certainly will discover a new show today. All without further ado, let's go to the video. Embroiled in a 100-year war, young Iska is sent to assassinate the ice calamity witch, Alisalis. Meant to murder each other, their initial encounter on the battleground creates doubt in their missions, but finding common ground together would make them traitors to their own countries. Though circumstances previously made them enemies, their now conflicted hearts may just make them lovers.
お前の行動はただ虚しいだけだ。僕が目指す未来は。
Once upon a time, there was a witch named Elaina, who set off on a journey across the world. Along the way, she would meet all kinds of people, from a country full of witches to a giant in love with his own muscles. But with each meeting, Elaina would become a small part of their story, and her own world would get a little bit bigger.
どこかの国の空の
If you like always be updated with everything we have interesting in anime world, subscribe in our channel. The daughters of Sesshomaru and Inuyasha set out on a journey transcending time. In feudal Japan, half-demon twins Tawa and Setsuna are separated from each other during a forest fire. While desperately searching for her younger sister, Tawa wanders into a mysterious tunnel that sends her into present-day Japan, where she is found and raised by Kagome Higarashi's brother, Sota, and his family. 10 years later, the tunnel that connects the two eras has reopened, allowing Tawa to be reunited with Setsuna, who is now a demon slayer working for Kahaku. But to Tawa's shock, Setsuna appears to have lost all memories of her older sister. Joined by Moroha, the daughter of Inuyasha and Kagome, the three young women travel between the two eras on an adventure to regain their missing past.
運命は次の世代へ託された。くらえ天空のやぶすな旋風陣
Works original anime project written by Jun Maeda. Previous works were Angel Beats and Charlotte. One day during Yuta Narakami's last summer vacation of high school, a girl named Hina suddenly appears and proclaims herself the all-knowing god. Hina announces to the thoroughly confused Yuta, the world will end in 30 days. Yuta then witnesses Hina's godlike powers of prophecy, convincing him that her powers are real. Hina's naive innocence belies her powers, and she decides to live at Yuta's home for some reason. Thus begins an eventful summer before the end of the world.
高3だからね。
無駄じゃぞ。勉強したところで無駄じゃと言っておる。
どうして？
30日後にこの世界が終わる。
For 820 years he had slumbered with no knowledge of mankind's advancement and scientific progress. The land which he once knew has become an unfamiliar place with new technology, attitudes, and lifestyles. Upon awakening, Cadis Etrama D. Rizel, aka Rai, seeks to familiarize himself with this era. He locates a loyal servant of his, Frankenstein, who is currently the principal of a South Korean high school. Rai decides that this school is the perfect place to help him learn about the modern world, enrolls, and begins associating with a group of good-natured students in order to blend in. But this new world is no safer than the old, and the dignified, bewildered, technologically inept Rai finds himself embroiled in adventures both ridiculous and dangerous. The story follows a protagonist whose name is written with the characters for Hashizora, Starry Sky in Japanese, but whose name is pronounced as Nasa. On the day of his high school entrance exams, Nasa encounters a beautiful girl named Tsukasa. For Nasa, it feels like destiny is finally calling out to him that he will have a girlfriend. But things take a turn for the worse when Nasa is hit by a car and unable to attend his entrance exams. After Tsukasa helps the injured Nasa, he confesses his feelings to her, and she agrees to go out with him. but only if Nasa agrees to marry her first. A year later Nasa aces the entrance exams, but he decides to work a part-time job and live by himself instead of going to school. After Nasa turns 18, Tsukasa reappears, and their happy, romantic, and mysterious married life together begins.
とにかく可愛いとにかく可愛い
Shiba Miyuki's classmate Kitayama Shizuku is on her way to study abroad. For magicians, this is normally impossible, since allowing the genes of someone who can use magic outside their home country's borders is tantamount to giving up national secrets. But it's allowed to happen in one-case exchange programs, and that's how Angelina Kuda Shields has arrived in Japan from the USNA to study at First High. Around the time Lena arrived in Japan, magicians began getting attacked by a mysterious being who leaves his victims drained of blood. Will Tatsuya be able to discover the identity of the vampire?
タツヤもうあなたに勝ち目はないわ
A boy fights for the right death. Hardship, regret, shame, the negative feelings that humans feel become curses that lurk in our everyday lives. The curses run rampant throughout the world, capable of leading people to terrible misfortune and even death. What's more, the curses can only be exorcised by another curse. Itadori Yuji is a boy with tremendous physical strength, though he lives a completely ordinary high school life. One day, to save a friend who has been attacked by curses, he eats the finger of the double-faced specter, taking the curse into his own soul. From then on, he shares one body with the double-faced specter. Guided by the most powerful of sorcerers, Goju Satoru, Itadori is admitted to the Tokyo Metropolitan Technical High School of Sorcery, an organization that fights the curses, and thus begins the heroic tale of a boy who became a curse to exorcise a curse, a life from which he could never turn back.
後悔も全て出し切れ拳に乗せろ
The third season of Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? It is business as usual in the massive city of Ororio, where legions of adventurers gather to explore the monster-infested dungeon. Among them is the easily flustered yet brave Bel Cranel, the sole member of the Hestia Familia. With the help of his demi-human supporter Lilaruka Arde and competent blacksmith Welf Kratzo, Bel has earned the title of Little Rookie by becoming Orario's fastest-growing adventurer thanks to his endeavors within the deeper levels of the dungeon. After their triumphant victory over Shiratorizawa Academy, the Karasuno High School volleyball team has earned their long-awaited ticket to nationals. As preparations begin, genius setter Tobio Kageyama is invited to the All-Japan Youth Training Camp to play alongside fellow nationally recognized players. Meanwhile, Kate Tsukishima is invited to a special rookie training camp for first years within the Miyagi Prefecture. Not receiving any invitations himself, the enthusiastic Shuyu Hinata feels left behind. However, Hinata does not back down. Transforming his frustration into self-motivation, he boldly decides to sneak himself into the same rookie training camp as Tsukishima. Even though Hinata only lands himself a job as the ball boy, he comes to see this as a golden opportunity. He begins to not only reflect on his skills as a volleyball player, but also analyze the plethora of information available on the court, and how he can apply it. As the much-anticipated national tournament approaches, the members of Karasuno's volleyball team attempt to overcome their weak points and refine their skills, all while aiming for the top. And it's all. Thanks for watching.